Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Nargrove. We've got Wife here, and we're back at it again for...
The end of Picard.
The end of Picard. A very bold Trek Jive. Let's do a little business first. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and do all the kind of stuff that we're supposed to tell you for. Spoilers. Let me tell you the scale of the spoil in these spoilers. I'm not trying to, like, be that person right now. So, if you have not seen this, go away. And if you have seen this, hello, opinions. So let's do that first. This is, obviously Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10, The Last Generation. You know, everything about this episode, I am in like a polar thing about, like a bipolarness about, because I both genuinely love that the name of this episode is The Last Generation. It's fantastic. Of course, it's The Last Generation. Sure. But also, ham. So much ham. Everything about this episode. Okay. I don't even want to go over the, like, full story arc. Whatever. You know what? We pick up with our intrepid crew split in two. We've got Seven and the people that she was able to save. And they are a bold group of individuals. Our intrepid pilot is, not very confident in his ability to pilot. Reasonable, but honestly, he crushed it. He took a bunch of big risk maneuvers that when he's flying through that like field of starships. I'm like, yeah. Fly your city through all these other cities. Go ahead. Sure. That makes sense. You're moving at like 4% the speed of light right now. Go team. Absolutely bonkers. So this guy's just like, I don't know. And then it's just like dominating. So good for him. Like, I like the whole thing. The transporter gun was very cool. And also the throwaway line where she's like, this might be super important later. I'm like, later for what? What? I'm sorry, what? Are we... Is it because this is part of / now we know that it definitely is? Star Trek Legacy, the thing that everybody needs to be hashtagging on Twitter and adding Paramount Plus about, because we need to give Terry Matalas Star Trek Legacy. Also, if you watch this episode and you weren't made aware of that simply by watching this episode, you did not pay attention enough. Please leave and go watch the episode again. You were not paying attention. This episode set up the future Terry Matalas Star Trek Legacy series so fucking hard. And honestly, it's my favorite part of this episode is every fucking time you saw the episode lock eyes with you and just be like, hey, do you want more of this? Say something about it. It happens like 1,000 times in this fucking episode. And I'm just like, yes. And if they don't bring it, I'm going to be so fucking angry. Holy shit. Guys, we know what he wants. Give him what he wants and what we want, because clearly you should want that. This is what this episode taught me. The, like, dad's saving the universe part, fine part. Good part, not important in this episode. Honestly, not that important. And, like, I liked it, and it was good. It's very hammy. Everybody got the thing. Everybody had a shenan. Worf won the episode. If you disagree with me, comment below about your wrongness, because Worf won. He's so fucking funny in this episode. I cannot handle him. Old man Worf is far and away best Worf. And frankly, I would not have believed that if you had told it to me 6 months ago. Unbelievable, right? Oh, we're gonna get old Worf. He's gonna be a laugh riot. Sure, not his character. I'll accept it. This motherfucker is a genius. I love old Worf. He's so fucking good. Riker's comedic timing is fantastic in this episode. Crusher gets her thing where she's doing the tactical, and everybody gets the, like, slow pan to what the fuck. gold. So good. We get so many of these, like, we're calling them dad moments, because it's just like old dudes on the Enterprise D doing shenanigans, saving a universe, whatever. It's so fucking good. These guys are like untouchable gods at this point in time in the Star Trek universe, and this episode proves that they are untouchable gods. It's so well done. It's so good. It's like too self-aware. It knows too much that it's doing what it's doing while it's doing it, and I don't care, right? Like at one point in time in the episode, I was kind of, it gave me this like sort of Deadpoolian level of self-awareness as like the lid of the Borg whatever the fuck part inside of a Borg cube that is just too big to make any sense in my mind, right? They're doing like a fucking Kessel run in this son of a bitch. I know, wrong reference, deal with it. They're doing a Kessel run into this son of a bitch, and I'm like, these guys are flying San Francisco through whatever the fuck. How big is this thing? What is happening here? I'm sorry, are you to tell me that the Federation didn't notice, like, a whole country of fucking metal floating in the eye? Nobody's doing zero science there? It would have disturbed the whole fucking thing. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. There are so many things in this episode that occur that are just fucking bonkers, right? He's just like, they're like, how do we get into the middle of this thing? As the computer's like, and route. And they're like, we can't get in here. And Data's like, I got this. And they're like, you're new at being here right now, and so maybe not. And he's like, I still got this. Back and forth 47 times. Whatever the fuck, right? And then, of course, he has it. Obviously, because he's like a fucking super robot. So, of course he has it. I don't know why Geordi doubted him. Whatever, right? So he gets his thing, and Geordi's doing Geordi's stuff. Everybody gets their, like, thing. Picard just yelling at this unfortunate Borg queen.
Zombie Geiger Borg queen.
Zombie Geiger Borg queen. And she's just like, we're turning into aliens from the movie Aliens. And Picard's like, I'm just gonna yank tubes out of this kid. No. Yeah, listen, you had a chance, shut it down. It's so fucking good. She's doing her, like, whole fucking shenan, and the more she's talking, I'm thinking, okay, they're just turning into aliens. Shut it down. And, like, he finally tried to shoot at her. Respectable approach. But just shoot your kid. I'm not saying that that's the right answer, because it all worked out magically, because these are magical dads. But, like, these guys show up as Earth is being fucking demolished, and they're like, let's try to reason with the zombie Borg queen to release my kid and stop murdering everything. I don't know what the plan was here. I assumed it was shoot Jack from the beginning, because how do we stop this? Blow up the cube or shoot Jack? I mean, they chose blow up the cube, so I guess that shit worked. But,
they could have just shot him in the leg.
Yeah! That was exactly... You don't have to kill him, just, like, inflict a bunch of pain. So he's like, oh, shit! What's happening here? And you're like, yank? Home. F this weird Borg queen. She's getting real alien. She watched a bunch of fucking movies from Earth's history, and she's lost her chill. Blow everything up. Right? That's kind of like my vibe on this, and Picard was like, I'm gonna let you do your whole monologue, and then I'm gonna do like a little bit of a monologue, and then you do your like whole monologue again, or whatever, right? And the whole time he's like yanking out tubes, and she's like, don't do it, it's gonna ruin his mind, and he's like, fuck you, bitch, no. Right? And then he stops halfway through for no reason. Monologue again, and then he takes a tube and he sticks it in his neck, and like,
just like in the side.
Like, again, it worked out, and that's fine. But also, bold strategy. Right? Like, who's tubing themselves in the neck? Borg style. It's kind of bonkers. A lot of the decisions that specifically Picard made in this episode were bonkers, but also I had zero problem with any of them with regard to the enjoyment of the episode. Because you're like, of course he's stuck in his neck. Of course they have a thing. Of course Worf's sword has a phaser in it. Of course the one Borg that they showed you the same face 3 times is the one that woke up. Sure. Like, it's again, the Borg stuff, the dad saving the universe stuff was just like a little too self-aware, but it didn't make it not enjoyable. It just made me know that you knew what you were doing, and that's weird. I don't need to know that. It's an unnecessary feature, right? That being said, half of the dad saving the universe stuff was like real porny Enterprise D shots. They're just doing the like deep drag. The Enterprise D is flitting through the middle of the Borg cube like a butterfly, and it's so insane. The like, in my mind, I try to always think of Star Trek with regard to the scale of shit in Star Trek, primarily because it's one of those small details sometimes not thought about, and it makes for some pretty bonkers action sequences within Star Trek. As a person who watches TNG like literally every single day, sometimes y'all would have been like a sack full of goo, but solid gold oldies. The G load on your body was too much. But watching a small city, just zigzag through a Borg cube is so truly insane, right? And it gives you that, like, functional scale where you're just like, you're not making the Borg cube feel bigger and more imposing. You're making the Enterprise D feel smaller and kind of more absurd in scale because of how big we know this ship to be, right? But during that entire sequence, you are also working with, I don't know, like a quadrillion pixel big fucking Enterprise D. Whoever the team of small god kings who worked on this CGI model for the Enterprise D is so bonkers detailed. Like, maybe the whole budget for this season went to that ship, and the rest of this was just passionate fans, because the ship is so well rendered. It's so intense. Like, the Borg cube it felt blurry by relative comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so well done. And like, after last episode 9, some people were just like, oh, I don't know about the windows, or I don't know about this, or whatever the fuck. Lies. This was such a good ship. Holy fuck. I would like a version of this episode, like somebody do like a YouTube cut or whatever the fuck you people do, where it's just all of the shots of the Enterprise D in sequence. Fantastic episode of Star Trek. No words. Nothing. Just the ship doing weird ship stuff. It was so fucking cool. They did such a good job. And of course, we got like a bunch of super porny shots of the Titan, but 75% of them were the Titan when it was the Titan, and 7 of 9 was like what do you call the speech from Independence Day?
This is our Independence Day speech.
Like, 7 of 9 gets her "This is our Independence Day" speech, which is like, it was amazing. It was so crazy. I don't care. I loved it.
I definitely kept expecting her to be like, today is Starfleet Day
or something,
right?
Yeah.
She was bringing like big Bill Pullman.
Bill
vibes.
Pullman, yeah, thank you. Yeah, big Bill Pullman vibes. Fantastic speech. She got her speech. We get the thing, and the Titan is just like fucking devastating the fleet. Guys, raise your shields. Jesus. Right? So they do like a big old thing. And then, like, the fleet ends up breaking through the, like, Earth Defense Station shields or whatever. And that thing gets rocked a bunch. But, like, the Titan does the whole save the day thing, whatever. It was great. The Titan looks good. It's such a cool-looking ship. And then, at the end of it, because we're jumping around, they decided to rename the Titan. And you know what? I don't like that. I understand why the self-aware episode of Star Trek decided to be this self-aware. Like, I get what they were doing. Because it's part of the Ouroboros of this episode, the, like, self-referential snake eating its tail of this episode, is that Star Trek Legacy with Captain 7 of 9 should be a thing, and if Paramount doesn't do that, there is a room full of idiot men in suits who have decided, instead of listening to the fans and making money, to do dumb shit. Right? I get exactly what they're doing, but literally the Enterprise G thing was like a step too far. You know?
I completely agree. In fact,
it was just like a step too far. I would have accepted. You had suggested, like, as it's happening, I'm just like, they did not just name this motherfucker. Like, before they showed it, I was like, they did not just name this motherfucker the Enterprise. And Julie was like, well, maybe it's the Picard. And I was like, great idea. I'll accept that. Very cunty still, but I'll accept that. But the Enterprise G, you know, I think maybe bad decision.
I'm actually really against this.
I'm very against it. I don't like it.
I am very strongly against this being the Enterprise G. First of all,
it's belittling to the name Titan.
Shouldn't there just be another Enterprise out there somewhere?
Well, I mean, there was. It was in the fleet formation, and it presumably didn't die. Although its captain got shot in the chest last episode. So then
either there's that's the Enterprise F, blasted up at Enterprise, or there's like a full Enterprise. Why would you do two ships? That's dumb. Just if it got blown up,
so dumb.
Make another Enterprise. You got to build a bunch of new ships anyway. However, the biggest problem that I have is this is really disrespectful to the Titan. I get the legacy of your crew and stuff. Okay, but fine, do something else. The Titan
also saved the whole ass thing. Like, I understand that the dad ship did dad maneuvers and that shit was tight. But the Titan is what held back the wall, bro.
Yeah, and also,
I'm not a fan.
The Titan has a legacy even before this series happens. So what you're telling me
remember when Picard's boy was the captain of that ship? Yeah. Specifically, that was Riker's ship, dude.
So what you're telling me is that it was more important to have potentially a second Enterprise active in the fleet. It was more important to have that than to have the Titan? No.
Yeah, who gets... Well, this is my thing.
No.
Who's the new Titan?
Yeah.
If they're not gonna, like, retire the name because it was so badass, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
And if the reason that they did that was because the execs were like, I don't know if people will understand because they know that Star Trek is the Enterprise, also not okay.
Well, not only do we already know in this whole series, not just this season, that Riker captained the Titan. In Star Trek Lower Decks, Riker captains the Titan. In the books, he captains the Titan. Like, we know that he's the captain of the Titan. It already has legacy. And then Captain Shaw, do not put disrespect on that motherfucker's name. All right? Fucking took the Titan to the brink of saving, like, you know, the Federation in its entirety, right? But died to do it. And, like, I get that they gave it to 7, and I love that they gave it to 7. The fucking hand wipe. just bold hand wipe of, come to find out the Gloops didn't just impersonate these motherfuckers, but it kept them alive as well. Sure, yes, fine, whatever, who cares? It's so hand wipey, and that could have been better, but I'll accept it simply because it meant that we got a Seven and Tuvok scene, which I am so here for. I love old Tuvok. Tuvok is boy, right? We got a Seven and Tuvok scene, fantastic scene, and we get that final hologram of Shaw. Just bring him back. Bring him back doing a thing. Transporter accident, weird cloud stuff, strange energies. Do a thing, guys. I love the Captain
universe.
7 idea, but I'm also so hurt that they did so bad with my boy. I cannot with this shit. But like, it's just kind of fucking belittling that they're calling the Titan the Enterprise G. So, I, as an official smart lad about Star Trek who knows better, have decided to retroactively deny that truth, and that's just the Titan. I would even accept hey, we refit it with science.
It's
bullshit.
a little like...
It's the Titan B. You give me the Titan B, motherfucker, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I don't give you can call the Titan D because eat a dick. I'm very okay with any action that involves preserving the legacy of the Titan. Titan stand here. But denying that to call it the Enterprise G when the F is just a little fucking punched up right now? Stupid move.
Also, isn't 1701 like the number of the ship?
No, that's, no.
Okay.
Like, technically that's supposed to mean something, but also technically, Star Trek does a bad job with the logic of that, so it's fine. It's not real.
This whole
the number just doesn't matter.
The Titan, the Enterprise thing is given like big, like, you know when your like local sports team arena gets like bought or like gets named after like a big name company.
Sure.
And then they're trying to rename it like the XYZ company arena. Yeah. And you're like, no, this has its own name.
It's like corporate rebranding.
It's like corporate rebranding. I don't like it. It's not okay.
Also, the Enterprise F was it's disrespectful to Titan, and it's kind of disrespectful to Star Trek Online and the Enterprise F or whatever. The one that we saw literally one episode ago. That shit's still an Enterprise. Oh, the Borg thing was involved. Turn it off. Take it out. You have time.
Unless they're sending the Titan to the museum. No.
Well, my issue with this is that we get a kind of violently abrupt 1 year later cut. Do a musical sting. Give us a slow pan musical sting. Don't just like blunt that shit, guys.
Or like a long black pause.
Something, I don't fucking know.
Like the kind of
it
one
was
where
a
like,
little too abrupt in the way that I think that should have been done, but like a year passed and they had enough time to fix 100% of the Earth station, but they couldn't fix the F? Fix the F. The station is way bigger and more work.
Also, rename the F station Enterprise something.
Well, I mean, that's the Enterprise. The Enterprise F is the ship that we saw in Vox 9.
Station.
No. Enterprise has got to be a flagship. I get that. Also, the Enterprise is technically supposed to be the flagship of the Federation. So what the fuck is going on?
I guess they got two flags.
And speaking of flagship of the Federation, I can't believe I forgot about this. We get the Chekhov's kid president of Earth or the Federation, I don't remember.
President of the Federation.
President of the Federation thing, Anton Chekhov. Fantastic reference, guys. Good job. I'm very here for that. Very good, right? We get a nice Chekhov reference. We get a nice Anton Yelchin ref. I'm here for that. Anton Chekhov, fantastic, solid gold. I also like that we got that the Bioborg have got like a pulsy vein thing. So that way, as soon as problem's solved, everybody everywhere is like, no more pulsy vein thing. High fives all around. Very good, kind of bonkers, but very good. I'm here for that. If they're Bioborg, why is it black and pulsy? What is that?
It's because they're connected to the Wi-Fi.
That doesn't make any sense. That's not how Wi-Fi works. I mean, I know that if you're a senator or a congressperson, you don't know how Wi-Fi works. What I would recommend is go to any young person, just anybody between the ages of like 12 and 35. They know how Wi-Fi works for sure. You might even go as high as 45, so you might be able to talk to somebody. But younger, the better. Talk to like a 15-year-old. If he explains it to you and it seems confusing, you're not allowed to make decisions on it because you're old. Go away. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm so happy for you because the truth is worse. Yeah, I like this episode. It was a fun episode. It did not feel, it's 62 minutes long. It did not feel like 62 minutes to me. It honestly felt like a very rushed episode.
It did feel
But
rushed.
also, they had a shitload of stuff to go over, right? The data prize, fire, crushing it, doing dad shenanigans, making a joke, very good. The Titan, very good. Obviously, we want more. So Paramount, get your shit together. Renaming the Titan the Enterprise G, stupid move. Very stupid move. You know what? When you do Star Trek Legacy, just don't remember that you did that. And like the fans are gonna have an upset, but listen, the ones who know are gonna be okay with it, and the ones who are sassy, we don't need to listen to them anyway. So, yeah, they're not gonna like no matter what we do, because they're, like, weird. They don't count. Like, it's just dumb. It's a dumb move. I'm not into it at all. But Seven, Raffi, Jack, USS Titan, Star Trek Legacy, it's gonna be so fucking good. Oh my god. Raffi's hair was fantastic at the end there, by the way. But like First Officer Raffi, Captain Seven, I'm so fucking here for that. Holy shit. Man, that's gonna be so good. I fucking love bloody the pilot chick. Mm-hmm. She's super fun. I really like her in this season. Jack being just special counsel to the captain is precisely as insane as I want that to be. I want him to just be like a crazy person. And we get this setup at the end there where Raffi just like, I mean, in my mind, it was Raffi like grabbing the sides of the camera and talking directly into camera. Just like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if like an asshole and a pirate and a secret agent did Star Trek shit on a starship? Why don't you fucking do this? She's just like in your face. And I'm like, wow, okay. But also though, I mean, doesn't that sound fucking gangster?
It does. Don't
you want that shit? I have absolutely always adored Seven, but this season of Star Trek Picard is like peak 7 of 9. It's so fucking good. Give her a ship. Holy cow, right? And since all of the dads survived, we can just occasionally give them a couple of $100 to show up and say a word, or however the hell Hollywood works, right? It seems like a nightmare. You people all make life far too complicated. But like, we could do that. We obviously, since we got Tuvok, we could easily throw in Harry Kim. We could throw in Chipotle. What's he been up to? Not much. So put on a face tattoo. Let's do some stuff, guys. We could bring in Janeway. She's already in the studio. She's doing voice acting. So put her in a uniform. Give her a wave. Like they could do so much on top of just exploring this timeline. The 25th century is the, like, right now of Star Trek. And we right now don't have anything, like, kind of guaranteed to move forward in that. So, like, we want to know more. And also, I know they blew up the thing, and, like, I know, blah, 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 blah. But also, they set up that there's, like, a transwarp conduit inside of the Eye of the Storm at Jupiter, which is, like, a bold strategy. And like, what's going on with that? If we've got zombie Borg Queen Lady up in here, what's going on the other side of that transwarp conduit? You know, what's like? I would love like Star Trek Legacy Monster of the Week. They're trying to repair stuff. They're doing stuff, solving problems for the Federation. But, like, looming over the entire thing is, like, maybe somebody was on the other side of that phone call. Maybe somebody was in the Delta Quadrant doing transwarp conduit, you know, like, what do you call that? Party line in it, you know? That's such an old reference. Oh, my God. Zoom calling it young people, whatever young people, Zoom calling it, you know, so who knows? I love this episode. It was fantastic. And I can't get over the boldness with which they pitched Star Trek Legacy in this episode. It's almost distracting, but still fun, so I don't care. And, like, I guess the takeaway from this entire season for me is that, like, one, give Terry Matalas all of your money. Right? Like, Paramount. Just let this guy do whatever the fuck he wants. Obviously, right? Season 1, okay, cool. Season 2, yeah, sure. Season 3, oh! Yeah, yes! Sure, this makes more sense now. Jesus. So, very good season. Let Terry Matalas do what he wants. Maybe bring Shaw back with magic. He was so good. But, like... Oh my God, I forgot about the Q thing?
Yeah.
There was a whole Q thing. It was good. Honestly, the Q thing was fantastic. Stay to the end. Yeah, I really like this season. I think that episode 9 was a better episode than episode 10. But I also think that if you watched episode 9, you know that episode 10 kind of has to be like, and they win. Right? Like, there was no way that wasn't going to be the case. I am shocked that Picard didn't die. I have been calling this whole season that Picard would sacrifice himself at the end. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he tried in a myriad of ways. But they really just, like, saved him the whole time. So I guess good job, that makes sense, whatever. Yeah, this was a good ending, but spent 50% of its time preparing you for the next thing that hasn't been promised yet. So, like, I enjoyed it, and it was good, but I think episode 9 was better, and I think that the ending could have been better had they spent more time working on the ending and less time trying to pitch Star Trek Legacy. However, I think that the best parts of the episode were the pitch for Star Trek Legacy. Right? So, like, I'm not upset about that, and I think that it still worked out in, like, a beneficial way. You know, we still got, like, good Trek. You know? And I think the lesson from this season of Star Trek Picard was definitely that you can do good Trek and still have all of the fanfare, and still have all of the dad saving the universe bits, and still have comedy in it. I think, like, the singular lack in this season for me is we never had a holodeck episode. And I think that
we kind of did.
Oh, well, I mean, like, they were in a holodeck. Yes, okay, fair. Fucking catch me outside. Fair. No, but I don't mean holodeck episode in the fact that a holodeck existed on a ship that should have holodecks. I mean, like, in anime terms, it's the beach episode, or the Christmas episode. It's that, like, when we do Star Trek as one big overarching plot episode to episode throughout a season, you lose the time to, like,
have a lighthearted sort of intermission. A story that has nothing to do with the main story.
You don't get to have the crew play a poker. You don't get to have Tom Paris do a weird shenan.
You don't get to have old-timey Western
You don't get to have
bits.
You don't get to have a Worf has to do Western with his kid, and it's awful. And then Data somehow gets involved, and it gets fucking weird. You know? Like, you don't get the, like, break in there. And I think that this is one of the things that is benefited by the... And I don't mean this in a negative way, although I know people often talk about it that way, but the, like, monster of a week style of Star Trek, right? The episodic instead of serialized version, or whatever. I'm not certain about those terms. That being said, I think that season 3 of Picard did a fantastic job of showing you the capacity of good writing and passionate acting and, like, a showrunner or whatever, season runner, I guess is the better term, in the form of Terry Matalas. Executive producer, I think, is his official role.
Oh, he's got, like,
he has, like, a bajillion.
Yeah.
I know. Well, whatever. Of having somebody like Terry Matalas, like, helming the show who gets Star Trek. You know, anybody can kind of watch enough episodes of Star Trek to understand the basic formula of Star Trek, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do a good or bad job. But there are, like, small nuances in the, like, logic of story, in the, like, bardic tradition of Star Trek, is kind of the way that I want to think about that, that are often missed. And this season of Picard does the best job of showing you that you can do the, like, true form of Star Trek in the one story across an entire season, non-episodic version of Star Trek. But I still think that the episodic version of Star Trek has the most potential for a group of newcomers to, like, attach themselves to the crew, right? Like, we all, I'm a huge Voyager fan, right? We all know Voyager main crew people, they have to get back to the Alpha Quadrant because they got stranded in the Delta Quadrant. You know, the Borg are assholes, like, that kind of stuff. We get the, like, main gist of it. But, like, the real character value episodes of Voyager generally don't have to do with, like, the main plot shit, the, like, across the season story, that sort of vague whatever that kind of moves the plot, that's the arrow of time in the play. And, like, each episode are the beats of the play where within you're able to explore different, like, locations and understandings. Like, I think, like, when I think of Tom Paris, one of the first episodes that comes to mind is the one where he gets arrested for, like, murdering this scientist because he was having a torrid love affair with his wife. And come to find out, Tom Paris was not at all involved in that. It was, like, another asshole scientist who was having the love affair, and they just, like, implanted a bunch of memories into Tom Paris's mind. This poor man was just trying to do his job. It's so good. You know, or, like, the episode where, like, B'Elanna starts getting real. She wants to go visit Tovokor. for fun or whatever, like Shanann, and we get like 3 layers deep into Stovacor on that, and like those kind of episodes, right? The replicators are acting weird, so the cook's got to do a Shanann, or like when you think of like TNG episodes, I think of like anytime Picard tried to take a vacation, that guy, vacation free since 93, let me tell you. Every time he tried to take a vacation, he got involved in a Shanann. But like those are the episodes that like give you the like character depth, right? The episode where Worf like shows back up to the ship because he's like, I was at a Bat'leth tournament and everything's fine and it's my birthday. And then he like wakes up the next day and he's like, why is Diana Troy in my bed? What is happening in this place? Why are all the walls a different color? What's going on right now? And they're like, oh, we're a different Enterprise. And then he like wakes up another, he has like a migraine or something. And all of a sudden they're in a fight and then a migraine. And all of a sudden that guy's like a different guy and shit. And he's just like, something's afoot. I don't like this. I don't know what's going on here. And they gotta like figure it out. Those are the fun episodes that give you like insight into the character. Let me tell you, the episode of TNG where a time Shanann happens and they're all kids, young kid Picard, those child actors fucking slayed. It's so good. Oh my god, this kid is just trying to be like a proper old English gentleman. It's bonkers. It's such a ridiculous. The Ferengi are like, we took over the Enterprise, and you're like, did you? I mean, you're Ferengi, but whatever, sure. And then they just get like outplayed by 4 children. Absurd. Fantastic. Peak Star Trek, if you will. Right? Sometimes you gotta go warp 10, turn into a lizard, have lizard babies with your captain. Shit happens. Those are like the good ones, and we're not getting that in this like season-long arch sort of thing. So like I want more of that, and obviously they want Star Trek Legacies to exist, and I support that move. So like I'm excited to see where Star Trek goes. I know that we've had some announcements, so before we get into that, I enjoyed this episode. This was easily the best season of Picard and one of the best seasons of Star Trek, full stop, in a while. This is up there with Strange New Worlds. Just the fucking best. Man, Strange New Worlds was so good. With regard to like new Trek, I know that people have like an opinion about that term. It's a waste of energy. Don't waste the sunlight. But this was a fun season. I mean, what do you think about all of the... I just said words for like 43 minutes.
Yeah.
I had a lot of opinions.
I think that, first of all, this is the best season of Picard. I was pretty into season 1. Season 2, I was just bored out of my absolute mind.
Yeah, you were not a fan of season 2. By the end, very sad. Yeah.
It got worse with every episode, and I did not like the 7 Raffi like buddy cop thing. I don't care if they're in a relationship. I do not care about that. But like I did not like the buddy cop thing, and they did not have chemistry together. So as like
they have more chemistry this season though.
They do. They definitely do. I think that's hopeful.
Maybe.
Yeah. But this is definitely the best season so far. There's been like a lot of like fan service to it, and I think that for the most part it's been like very well done. This is a story that I was like really invested in, like very excited to watch this episode tonight. But honestly, this episode was not nearly as good as most of the episodes this season. Yes, we got the wrap up of the story, we got the story beats, we got all the we see you fan service stuff, and I'm here for that. But honestly, it felt lackluster. It felt like it felt like it didn't live up to the hype, because the previous episode was so amazing with everything that they did with the tension. Like really, the last like 2 episodes before this, what I think would have really done a better job at telling the end of this story is if episode 9, the previous episode that we just watched had been a 2-hour-long episode where they took episode 9 and most of episode 10 that we just watched tonight and made it a 1-hour thing, and then had a small bit as kind of like an epilogue episode, because you could have gone through the whole episode 9 and then episode 10 all the way up to like, we got it guys, pew pew pew, you know, like right before your 1 year later, because like that wraps up the story like really, really nicely. And
like the 30-minute like 1 year later epilogue, that's a good idea.
And you would have been like still up on the absolute hype and thunder that was the end of episode 9. Like at the end of episode 9, we were like rolling, and this was like oddly enough a slower pace for what seemed like more action in it.
There was a crazy amount of action,
but it felt very slow, and just kind of like. It was kind of like going through the motion of it.
There was a lot of room in the episode.
There was.
For the fans to be like, yes. Like, it felt like they were asking for you to agree.
And that would have been better if we were still rolling off of the hype of what we got in episode 9. So I would have liked to have seen an hour and a half, like 2-hour long episode 9, and then a 15 to 30 minute episode of epilogue that is the last generation stuff. And that's the plugging the Star Trek legacies. And that's the part with the Q. And that's the part with them playing poker. That would have tied it up so much nicer.
No ship name change though.
Ship name change. Still not here for that.
Enterprise
but it wouldn't have been as annoying had it been separate with all these other feel good parts. Because I feel like one of the things that was weird about this episode is the pacing was really off. You kind of had these like moments that felt like they were like supposed to be really like action packed and like tense, but really we're just like watching this ship go through lasers and lasers like pew 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 pew.
It was very cool.
And it was very cool, but like there's something about the way that this episode was paced that kind of like bugged me. Like, and the fan service was fantastic, and I don't think that should have been removed. I just think that it needed to be put with the emotional hit that was episode 9. And also, I have never seen a show do something like that where you have like the epilogue episode, but that would have really, I think, helped, because there's also
TV doesn't normally do that, but this isn't real TV, so
there's
why
also
not?
there's also other questions that I have. Like at the beginning of this season, he says to the like chick that he's in love with, like, I'll be back. Okay, but did he go back? We don't know.
That's fair. I mean, I'm gonna assume that he did, but yeah.
She could have left and given him a Dear John letter. What's up with the picture of Crusher and Picard?
Show them having a high five in a bar somewhere.
Like all we got is Crusher and Picard. So is that like an item now? Are they just like co-parenting?
That
like
felt
did
like
he go
a
back
picture.
to the
That felt like a
Romulan
picture
lady?
from a Star Trek
Is this like a weird little like hinge polyamorous kind of thing? Like I have
Holy
questions.
shit. Could you imagine
about that.
if Star Trek Legacy had to explain the Picard Crusher, I cannot remember that Romulan chick's name, like polytriad thing? Oh, it would be so funny.
I got questions about this.
I'm here for it.
Beyond the like transwarp thing, and also if you're gonna do something with the transwarp thing, like give us a little bit of zhuzh, give us a little bit of teaser. See, like the epilogue episode could have included all of this.
We didn't really get
1 year
what's
later,
on the other
like
side
fan
of
service thing, and could have
tunnel.
tied up a couple more loose ends. I mean, only season 3 loose ends. Although I would have liked to have some season 1 and 2 loose ends wrapped up too. But whatever. But it also could have added some extra things to keep people like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen, and keep them really engaged. And I think that that's where this episode and honestly the season kind of really failed, because we were just building and building and building, and we got to the base drop. The base didn't drop as far as I thought it was gonna drop.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being
this
said,
episode
I
could
really
have
love this.
done a better job with pacing. I mean, this was a fun episode. I think that for me, the like absolute best part of this season was episode 9.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 and 9 arguably, but honestly, mostly 9. 9 was a fantastic episode. And this episode sort of wrapped everything up in like a nice bow, and there's like a box, and like you got a card, and like the lady at the counter asked you what you wanted to say on the card, and you're like, I don't know, regards or something. And she's like, that's fucking lame. I'll write something better for you. And so, like, she did that, you know, and, like, it's nice, but, like, you didn't gift wrap that shit. You paid for it, and it takes a little bit away, you know?
Yeah.
It felt a little too paint by numbers. It felt a little too self-aware. I mean, really, for me, the self-awareness of this episode was sort of, it's kind of weird to watch a thing that knows that you're watching it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little bonkers. And, like, they did some of that, like, Deadpoolian comedy, the, like, Worf being like, and I'll go too, so we're a threesome, and Riker's just like, do you fucking hear what you're saying right now? Like, that shit's good, right? Self-aware, haha, funny. But, like, a lot of, for me, it was, like, the way that it was shot. A lot of the cinematography, especially in the CGI cinematography, like, it's gorgeous. But, like, a lot of the angles, like, the way that they, like, shot scenes was very aware of what they were doing in a very, like, set up way, you know? Maybe it's, like, the camera moving a little unnaturally. But I still think this was a good end to this season. I don't know. I mean, honestly, after episode 9, I don't know what you could do to wrap it up better.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think that this is a function of, we have 10 episodes. Yeah, so, I don't know, whatever. Like, I thought this was a fantastic episode. A good ending, and literally, this is all I'm gonna watch tomorrow.
It was satisfying, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll see if I can squeeze in 10 hours of Star Trek tomorrow. Let's not pretend that I can't. So, yeah, wrestling doesn't start till 10 o'clock at night, so I don't even have to start early. Bitches, what's up? But, yeah, what did you think after all of the... from me, mostly. So what did you think of this episode? What did you think of this season of Picard? Do you support renaming the Titan the Enterprise G? And why are you wrong if you disagree with us? I expect a 5-paragraph essay. It's due by Tuesday. Get your shit together.
Double space. Don't use chat
double
GPT.
spaced. Yeah. Don't use chat. You know what? Use chat GPT. I'll allow it. Yeah. You got to make sure that your fucking inputs are good, bro. Because I'll know. Don't worry. I'm watching you. What do you think about Star Trek Legacy, like, as a concept and those sort of things? Like, let us know below about all that sort of stuff. So, that being out of the way, and right before we close, the only thing I have to say, if you aren't, like, spoilers and, like, news oriented with regard to this stuff, I want to talk about a little bit of Star Trek news that we have. So if that's not your bag or whatever, go away or be quiet for a bit or something. Mute that shit. But there's a like, kind of announcement. I don't know what to call it, but Paramount Plus is in works to make a oh my god, what's the one from Tim the Tool Man Taylor called?
I'm sorry, what? Home Improvement?
No. The Galaxy Quest. That's what it's called. Yeah, I was like something Quest. I couldn't think of the word. Galaxy Quest. There are like words or whatever out. I saw on Twitter that, like, Paramount Plus might be making a Galaxy Quest series, which I'm very here for. So, I like, if you're like one of those people, but like, I love Galaxy Quest ferociously.
Same.
It's so good. It's like a perfect movie. So, yeah, that might be happening. I don't know what to do with that knowledge, but it's yours now also. Good for you, yay. But, yeah, either way, I've been John Norgrove, and this has been, wife, or whatever, and, this has been Trek Jive. This is a fucking weird episode of Star Trek, man. Like, I watch a lot of Star Trek, and this is a weird episode of Star Trek for me. I'm so of two minds about it. But this has been Trek Jive. We are talking about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 10. The season finale, the series finale, The Last Generation. Asshole name. So I guess we'll catch you guys next time. Oh my god, we didn't get what 7 says, so...
Time to ponder that.
Yeah, think about that shit. It's awful that we didn't get that. So mean, Terry Metalis. Why? Why would you do this to my boy? What is going on? Why do you hate me? What's happening?